disaster, two terms you don't generally associate with one another. However, with the tourism industry expected to continue to experience rapid growth well into the next century, a large percent of which will occur in higher risk areas, the industry represents a susceptibility to disaster and catastrophes. Although the number of natural hazards and disasters continues to grow, little research has been conducted on tourism disaster management and planning. Most tourists, however, rank security and comfort as essential qualities of a vacation site, and tourism is particularly vulnerable to a range of disaster occurrences due to the fact that it depends on so many components and individual businesses. Whether it be man made disasters such as terrorism or natural disasters like hurricanes and avalanches, the tourism industry is exposed to a wide variety of catastrophes. Disasters present many challenges to the tourism industry. Not only do they negatively affect visitor numbers to an area, they also have the ability to have a positive or negative impact on destinations recovering from disasters. According to Volunteer Travel Insights 2009, the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami and the 2010 earthquake in Haiti both sparked voluntourism, which is a form of tourism in which travelers participate in voluntary work, typically for charity. This is a case in which disasters positively impacted an area, although there is an argument about whether voluntourism is ethical or not. Disasters can negatively impact the economies of areas by decreasing tourism, which also impacts the people who depend on it for livelihood. Although tourism, and voluntourism specifically, can possibly benefit an area after a disaster, there are cases where, instead of assisting, tourism got in the way of the recovery process. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami can also be used as an example for this, due to the fact that many of the affected local communities struggled to provide the basic necessities for those left homeless and unemployed, while the hurried investment in tourism development in areas where local communities were still unprepared prevented the local residents affected by the tsunami from making a smooth transition back into their homes. Many incidents, in particular, have had significant impact on the tourism industry and its perspective on disasters and crises. Tourism targeted terrorist attacks in Bali and Jakarta, 9/11, Hurricanes Katrina, Rita, and Wilma in the U.S. are just some of the events of the past few decades that have had dramatic impact on the international travel and tourism. The most important thing to consider when discussing disaster in the tourism industry is what can be done to prevent it from happening. Disaster preparedness itself can be defined as a state of corporate readiness to foresee and effectively address internal or external adversary circumstances with the potential to inflict a multidimensional crisis by consciously recognizing and proactively preparing for its inevitable occurrence. Progress has already been made in developing disaster preparedness strategies, such as increased airport security after 9/11. Although there is often a gap between what is expected to happen and what actually happens during an emergency situation, it is important for businesses and communities to have proactive strategies and plans that are well developed and applicable to a range of disasters in order to be prepared for anything. Security, documentation of all organizational assets, and coordination with local police and emergency services are just some of the specific things businesses can do to be prepared for an emergency. All in all, despite the growing number of natural hazards and disasters, little research has been conducted on tourism disaster management and planning. However, countries, businesses, and communities have begun to take precautionary measures to decrease the chance of disasters, keep areas safe, and to maintain the thriving industry of tourism.